Hey, welcome to another edition of Sit Down at Uptown, man. It's Sit Down at Uptown. We chop it to the comedians who come rock Uptown Comedy Corner. I'm your host and owner of Uptown Comedy Corner, Angelo Sykes, man. And got a special guest in the building. Hadn't been here in a while, man. We're glad to have him back, man. Mr. Tony Tone.
Man, glad
is
to
in the building, brother. What's
yes,
up, man?
Glad to be back, man. Thanks for having me, man. This
Absolutely,
is, man, I was, Uptown. This is history, man, for me, man. In my early days coming up in Uptown, so it's good to be back, man.
That's what's up.
Good to be
what's
back,
up.
yeah.
I'm glad you said that. So I'm gonna start differently tonight, Tone. So
All
you
right.
just said something. Tell me about your history at Uptown.
My history at Uptown, I started back in the day, in the first spot was
Peachtree
Brookwood
Road.
Square,
Yeah.
Peachtree, Buckhead, behind Houston.
That's right.
That was always the main landmark.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm at Uptown behind Houston.
That's right.
On Peachtree, so started out there, and at that time it was home of Earthquake.
100%.
All right. Then it went from home of Earthquake to home of Don D.C. Curry, home of Don D.C. Curry to home of Bruce.
That's right.
And then they end up moving, over time. They spent a brief moment in the Buckhead Bar District before they redid it. And then they went from there to Marietta Street. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met you. And, man, I was working with y'all there on Marietta Street for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It was a great location because we can, go out and tell some jokes and go get some lap dances right next door as stilettos. But anyway, that's another story. But
Hold on, the story, right?
You always had great locations like that. You know what I'm saying? But went from there to Hapeville.
Yeah.
Across from the Porsche building, and then we're not far from the last location. We're right here, Virginia Avenue, man, and here I am again, man. So I've been at all your locations, man.
That's
Uptown
dope.
is a staple of black comedy in Atlanta and abroad, one of the handful of black-owned comedy clubs, man. We only have a handful in the country, and we really need more, but we got to keep you guys going, keep you guys open, man. You know what I'm saying? And you guys got to stay open. We lost Chuckles in Memphis,
Yeah, I heard.
so we still got Uptown. You've been keeping black comedy going, black-owned comedy going for years. And there's a few others around the country too, man. So yeah, man, I'm just glad to be here, man.
So when you say those statements, man, because I don't think a lot of comedians know what you just said. I don't think they really recognize the few black-owned comedy clubs that's left, man.
Right.
So when you say that, man, what does that mean to you as a comedian who's been doing this for such a long time when you see so many of those doors have closed over the years?
Man, it means a lot, man, a world, man, because man, we gotta have our own. We're self-sustaining, man. It's part of the self-sustaining nature that we have, man. That was tarnished and destroyed. I mean, this Uptown could have been on Black Wall Street if we started again. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the self-sustaining abilities that we have in the black community, man. So, black comedy clubs are very unique, and they're very much needed. We need more. Because I do the mainstream rooms too, and it's different. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through different hoops and stuff, man. And when you work your own people, man, it feels comfortable, good time. We know each other. You know what I'm saying? So to have black comedy clubs, black-owned comedy clubs, that's a lot. Because man, look, black people with the liquid gold, man, we can pour into our own clubs instead of pouring into the other clubs all the time as a community. You know what I'm saying? So
why do you think that doesn't happen anymore on that scale, man? Just in your veteran opinion, why do you think some of these guys don't recognize and or support those black comedy clubs that's left?
You know what? It's hard to put a finger on it, and I don't think it's any one thing really.
Okay.
Everybody have their own reasons unique to them or their experiences or whatever. Who knows? I can't see why not. You know what I'm saying? Why they wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? We nothing wrong with elevating our own people and our businesses. Like we do other businesses. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, like I said, everybody have their own reasons why they do stuff. I like working, and in particular, especially black-owned comedy clubs. Like I said, I do all the clubs. Sure. I'm a comedy junkie, so I got a microphone. I'm just wherever I am. I'm working, but right. I really enjoy working in front of working for black-owned comedy clubs too, man, and in front of our people who we need laughter more than than anybody. You know what I'm saying? We're the, people say we're the hardest to make laugh. That's because we have, hardest lives. So, and people that have a hard life, they really need laughter. So I do all the black spots too. I mean, comedy's comedy, but for my people, it means a whole lot. I do spots in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born. And I do a run up there every year. I do a run, 3-night run for my boy Kenny Adams, man. And people like even some of my family, hey, you be going all deep into the hood? I said, them people need laughter more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And you think Jesus just ran in the nice area? Jesus was hanging out in the hood where people most need him. You know what I'm saying? So comedy's like that. Comedy, I perform everywhere, man. I mean, I used to do 559 all the time. 559 wasn't even really the name of the club. That was a death toll in that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They frisked me as a comic. They frisked the comics, man. They said, man, they frisked me for a gun, man. I didn't have one. They gave me one.
Gave you one?
Yeah, man, you gonna go in there and have a good time. Yeah. Boy, we can't be protecting all of it once. Go in there.
That's
but
hilarious.
no, yeah, man. So yeah, that's.
I just want to get your thoughts on it, man. When you said it, it just triggered that thought process because I just know a lot of comedians don't, and just like what you said a second ago about going back to that neighborhood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I bet that means everything to your guy there.
Yeah,
You know what I
and the
mean?
people there.
And the people there.
People they follow me over to the Funny Bone because I do the Funny Bone in Cleveland too. They follow me over there.
Yeah.
Man, I saw you at Skeets. I saw you at Epic and all that. Man, I'm coming.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So man. So they're not forgotten.
That's cool.
You're not forgotten.
That's cool. All right, Tone. So we're gonna go back to where we usually start my show at, right? So we
Okay.
usually start by taking our road trips.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
So I always take a road trip back. All right. So I want to go way back.
All right,
I want
let's
to go
go.
back to the young Tony Llewellyn.
All right.
Like you just said, you're from Cleveland, Ohio. Tell me about your childhood, man. Exactly how your neighborhood was, what it was like for you as a child.
Okay, so like I said, I was born in Cleveland, but my upbringing was mostly in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
So I was born in Cleveland, and my family like, yo, man, we need to move Tony to a safer city. So they moved me to to Memphis, and I received a flesh wound as soon as I walked into the city limits. No, I'm kidding. No, but I was raised in Memphis, man. So I can tell you, man. Look, I came up. Look, I don't even know where to start, man, on that because it's so much. I came up in a great era, first of all.
Okay.
We're around the same age, so the era we came up in a great time, man. Neighborhood, you just made friends. We played outside. You know what I'm saying? We had play clothes, which was an outdoor uniform. Man, we went outside. We played all the time. We didn't have the internet.
Right.
The internet was just before the internet. So my neighborhood, man, we got out, played football. The fellas who played football, tackle football, and no grass field was left untouched.
I bet.
So we played football. The girls on the sideline cheerleading. You know what I'm saying? We trying to show out for the girls. Then we'll play hide and go get it. We did all the childhood stuff. Let me tell you, man. Oh man, you got me started on that because my childhood. I had a fun childhood, man. We anything where we could run and just be outside. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, you only had like one little fat dude neighborhood.
Right.
Now you got one little skinny dude neighborhood. Kids don't do nothing no more. All they do is play on video games. But no, we did stuff that would be deemed so hazardous right now. Remember being a kid, you couldn't wait to find somebody that threw a mattress out?
Right. Oh yeah.
Ain't no telling what happened on that mattress,
That's
but
right.
boy, that was a play toy for us. We wrestled on the mattress. We used to get go to these salvage yards or a truck, where they had truck inner tubes. Back when cars still had inner tubes in them.
Right,
Dang, I'm really
right,
dating myself here.
right.
Anyway, man, it was a flip fest.
Yeah.
Flip off that inner tube onto the mattress.
Land
We couldn't
on
wait
that
to find the
mattress.
mattress,
Yeah,
man, bro.
yeah.
Man, could have been hepatitis, everything on that.
Everything on that
we were
mattress.
tough kids. We exposed ourselves to all them germs, and because we exposed ourselves to all them germs, when we caught COVID wasn't nothing.
Right.
COVID ain't got nothing on what we caught off the mattresses.
You right though.
Blood stain, pee stains.
Whatever.
Oh man,
But it was
we
a
had-
great landing spot.
Yeah,
The bikes,
great landing spot.
jumping on, whatever,
Yeah, the
whatever.
bikes.
Yeah,
Oh man, we
that's
made
true.
up for it. We was creative,
That's true
man.
story.
So
That's
how
true.
I came up as a kid.
Okay.
And I tell you for another funny story too. I grew up in Memphis, right? When I first moved to Memphis in '73, so I made friends quick. And Memphis, I was talking about how he was talking, hey man, we knew he was Maine. I was like, hey man, you know what I'm saying, man, you know what I'm saying. So I was, going that way, coming from Cleveland. I was going that way. And then my mother moved out to Northern California with one of my aunts. Took me and my brother out there, Northern California, Sunnyvale. And I was out there for like 2 years. And I was still at that impressionable imprint stage, 6, 7 years old. Man, I came back to I was exposed to all them cultures. I came back from California to Memphis. They like, hey man, Tony back, man. I was like, hey guys. I was totally different. Hey guys, this is neat. They were like, hey man, what's wrong with Tony, man? So
you got that violence type thing.
Yeah, that little Northern California. It was crazy. But anyway, man, I became a class clown. My path to stand-up comedy started at elementary school.
Okay.
So I was a class clown. That's when it started, man. Elementary school, man. I was that kid whose desk was always by the teacher's desk. It's like, Miss Llewellyn, that's my real last name. Mr. Llewellyn, bring your desk up here. So I was always, that was me. I was sitting right by, I was like, oh man. So I wasn't bad enough to get suspended.
Right.
But I was a very mischievous kid.
Gotcha.
And I was always clowning. And I started doing impressions in around 5th or 6th grade.
Okay.
Back then it was Smurfs was hot. Reagan was in office, you know what I'm saying? And, because I grew up a lot with my grandparents, I was exposed to a lot of, Nixon scandal, Reagan. So, and they voices would amplify with me, so, I started doing Reagan and as a kid, and all that kind of stuff. So that old stuff, and I grew into other stuff. So my class clownism started then. That's how a lot of us comedians started as stand-up comedians. We were class clowns.
Right.
So from that on up, man, and it got to the point, the funnier I got in school, the lower my grades got. So, I passed.
What kind of student were you?
Yeah, I had to go to summer school. I failed 9th grade, man.
Right?
I failed English. I passed all my classes except for English, and if you fail English, you fail the whole grade.
The whole grade.
Yeah, so I had to go to summer school, and when I graduated in 1989, I won the most wittiest award. That you could have kept my diploma as long as I won that most wittiest award, which is basically class clown award, right? Mm-hmm. So but then I started officially doing stand up in Cumberland College.
Okay.
And that's
before you get to college though. What kind of did you do extracurricular stuff in school?
I did. What
else
I did. Man, forgive me for passing over that. I went to art schools from middle school and high school. I went to Colonial Junior High and Overton High School in Memphis.
Okay.
And they were art schools. They called them CAPA, C-A-P-A, Creative and Performing Art Schools. That's what they called them. And that's the reason I went. I was in gymnastics. I played in band. I was acting. They call it drama, but I was in the drama department, which is acting. But the comedy part, that was just on me, just being silly. But and I played football too. I played football and ran track. Okay. So I did a little bit of everything. Okay. Got into the talent show and all that kind of stuff. So I was always active.
Gotcha.
In school, period. I did a little school plays in elementary school, and community plays. So I was acting actually before stand-up.
Really?
Before I started, I was acting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
good stuff. Now that we got that part,
all right.
So you graduated, and then you went to college.
College.
So that's where the comedy.
Yeah,
tell me how that started. Where did it actually? What's the?
I'll tell you. All
right.
Here's the deal. First off, my first live comedy experience of watching live stand-up was they bought Jerry Clower there. I don't know if people.
Wow.
You remember Jerry Clower?
Of course.
Yeah, from Yazoo, Mississippi.
You listen to them tapes.
Yeah. Ha!
Yeah.
So
wow.
He came and I was like, okay, I'm watching, and then I was playing football in college too. So we broke down into groups within the team to do some skits in front of the student body as a way to get them familiar with everybody, kind of with us and everything. So our skit, we did the Arsenio Hall show, because this is 1990, 91. So okay. Arsenio was hot around the time. Sure. So I said, I'll tell you what, because we were going another direction. I said, this ain't working. I said, what we need to do is, I made my boy Mike. I said, Mike, you gonna be Arsenio. Everybody kind of fit everything they can. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was Mike. He was Arsenio. I had a hat, something similar to this. That was around the time Arsenio was wearing a hat. So I said, you gonna be Arsenio. I'm gonna write your monologue out. I wrote his little monologue out. I said, it was we had another white dude in there. He had a box haircut. I said, you Vanilla Ice. And you all gonna be his two dancers. I said, I'm gonna be the special guest comedian. on the and within the skit, and I'm gonna come out and I was doing all impressions then, and man, that's what gave birth, because even though I was doing it within the skit, I was doing a real routine. The student body blew up. They were like, oh, they were laughing, and I was on to something, and that's what gave birth that night.
Wow.
And after that, I was receiving like little slips under my dorm door. Hey, can you do a comedy show for the Earth Day event? So I became the campus comedian, and I was doing comedy there. And then one of the linebacker coaches, he said, Anthony, you got a gift for real. And I used to manage some comedy clubs. If I can connect you with a couple of them, would you do it over the summer? I said, yeah, of course. So that never happened. But when I left over the summer, I went back to Memphis, and the Comedy Zone had just opened up on Overton Square, and I was there every week on open mic, and that open mic was different, and it was perfect the way they had it, because open mic there was, we had a small stage out in the bar area, so you had to work your way into the main showroom. So that was, and then the open mic always came after the main show, so in essence, we're following the professionals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so when they leave, and I was like, hey, y'all want to come see the open mic? You know, we had to get people over there, and we had light nights sometimes, we had heavy nights, but it was good. I was just happy to be there, and I was there every night, man. I mean, ever since, this is like 90, 91 when it all started. And the rest is history, because I was always, yeah, man. I was never worried about money. I was just happy to get on stage, because, you know, you got to be able to build the funny before you make the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
my first paid gig, it just popped up on me. It wasn't something I was like, man, I can't wait till I make money. I'm like, man, I'm going to get on stage. And, man, Bob Winbush, one of the promoters in Memphis, saw me. He said, I'm gonna have you to open up for Bobby Rush. So, yeah, this is early in my career. I wasn't ready for that show. He thought I was funny enough. Man, I was not ready for that show.
Really?
It wasn't a good night.
Yeah.
He shorted me $10. I was only getting 50. He gave me 40. Get the hell out of here. So that's real talk. I always mess with Bob about that. So, you know, you shorted me $10. Nigga, you bombed. So, hey, man, look, you know, y'all know Bobby Rush, man. Yeah. You know, so it was at an old skating rink. It was a place called The Shell, I believe. Anyway, it was an old skating rink. It was still pretty much, you could tell it was a skating rink, like the floor, they just had seats on the floor where one skate at, had the stage. So, man, I'm already, you know, I'm looking extra young. I was young, but I look even younger. Went out there with my little merry-go-round suit. Yeah. That little merry-go-round, I used to work at merry-go-round. That little merry-go-round suit, my little glasses, looking like a kid. And I'm trying to do my impressions, man. Man, them people, they didn't even boo me. They just took long drags of their cigarette, just blew smoke in the air. And the smoke said, boo. And then, when I had to leave, get on stage, I had to walk through the crowd. It was a long ass walk.
It was a long walk,
man. They threw lit cigarettes at me. They didn't put them out. It was torture, boy. I walked back there to the bar. Here's your $40. Get out of here, kid.
Right.
So yeah, man, that was one of my early paid gigs, man. And then, but I was just always happy with getting on stage.
So,
man.
So did you have anyone to kind of walk you through comedy, walk you through sets, how to write or anything?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't, man. I just had I mean, I just came up watching veteran comedians. You know, of course, first I came up listening to Richard Pryor albums because I had that family that listened to Richard Pryor albums, and they sent me in the next room like sound didn't travel. And then, right, you know. And then I started watching HBO, started putting on HBO half hour and hour comedy shows early in the day and early back in the time. And then I was watching those shows, but I never had anybody to sit down. Well, no, I did not really. I just pick up stuff as you go. Like you hear people, you got to write a joke with a beginning, middle, and end. And this in conversation, and that stick with me. Like, yeah, that's right. So this begin, you know. So nobody really sat down and said, "Here's what you do." It's just more like in conversation, stuff will stick with me, and I just learn like that. And just other than that, just threw myself into the fire.
Wow.
And the impressions definitely was a plus. Okay. But, you know, at first I was all impressions, but then I said, I got to get some material and to go with that because I have a life outside of, nobody knows who I am. It's great I can do impressions, but the comedians that really blow up, people know who they are.
Sure.
One of the most vulnerable. You learn to be vulnerable just from watching Richard Pryor. Nobody was more vulnerable than him.
Facts.
He told everything.
Everything.
He said he was gay for a week. What man gonna say that? You know what I'm saying? People say no Diddy after everything now. Ain't nobody gonna say they were gay for a week.
Right.
So I mean, he put it all out there.
Yeah.
So you knew who Richard Pryor was, and yeah, man. So I got to talk about my life a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? And I throw the impressions in there too, and you constantly grow. You never stop growing in the game.
Sure.
Once the comedian feel like they know it all, they set themselves up for failure. We never stop growing. Okay, how long you been? I bet Don D.C. Curry, good friend of both of us. I work for him. I open up for him on the road a lot. Man, Don to tell you, he's still, and he's been in the game. He's a legend.
Sure.
You know, and he still be writing and everything.
Still
so
grinding.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's he's a person to watch.
Yeah, no
you know what I'm
doubt.
saying? I be a student in the audience. After I open up for him, I go sit out.
That's right.
Watch, okay, and then of course he talked to you. You know, he's one of the few legends that'll talk to you. Up and coming, you know what I'm saying? Because he once told me, he said, man, a lot of the guys that he came up under, they weren't helping at all. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, a couple of them may say something, but they said he was too nice. And he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, but Don's different, man. Don's great. He always been cool.
Don is definitely different.
Man, different in a great way. Yeah, man.
In an outstanding way.
Right.
He's totally different.
Yeah,
I always
man.
give him his props for that.
Yeah, man.
He's one of those few.
Yep.
So, at what point was it the college show? Like, what point were you on stage and you realized it hit you like this is what I'm gonna do?
Man, that's a good question, man. I know because I was. I'm trying to think of a definitive moment that made me say that, or did it just come? I just woke up. Let me think, man. I'm sorry. That's a good question, man. I never really thought about that. I know it's probably early because this is what I do. It was definitely early. Probably when I was in my South Florida days. I used to live in South. That's why I got my name Tony Tone down in South Florida because people used to mangle Tony Llewellyn. Tony Llewellyn wasn't no comedy name anyway. If I had a law firm or insurance, you know what I'm saying. But Tony Llewellyn, they used to mangle Llewellyn, man.
Yeah.
Give a Tony Llewellyn, give it for this nigga here, you know. So I started doing shows for these guys, and it's funny how fate, how God make things work. I had car issues, and his brother stopped to help me with my car. And in conversation while helping me out, I told him I'm a comedian. And he said, oh, yeah. He said, man, we're looking for a comedian to do some stuff with us, you know, blah, 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 blah. So we developed a business relationship was formed right there. And I started hosting shows for them at a club inside of a hotel in West Palm Beach called Clydesdale's inside of this Holiday Inn, right? And they used to call me all the time. Every time they called, Tony Tone, what up, Tony Tone? And one day I said, you know what, man? I got like that Tony Tone got a ring to it. And I was using it ever since,
How about
man.
that?
Yeah, using it ever since, man, because Llewellyn was not.
Llewellyn wasn't gonna keep it.
They wasn't gonna keep it, man. I went up to Tony Llewellyn in the hood, man. People like, hey, man, this dude police, man. He police. This dude, he undercover, man. What nigga named Llewellyn?
Too funny.
But
So how'd your family feel about you doing comedy?
my mother initially like, don't you want to go back to college, son?
Yeah.
Cause she saw my early days. Cause she was a staunch Richard Pryor fan, you know.
Okay.
And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, she probably thought I was supposed to be on his level starting out, like, or whatever. But I like, hey, this is what I do. So she was trying to talk me to going back into school. Right? Don't you want to go back to school, son? I'm like, I will, but you know, I'm on to something right now. Man, after a while, hey, she was like, you getting your shows together?
Really?
So, yeah, man.
That's
now
cool.
it's like she be hating on all the other comedians. I said, oh, those are my friends.
Right.
That ain't you. If I see like a comedian I know in movies, well, you should be in there. I said, you can't be hating like that now. I appreciate the love, but let them get their work. I'll get mine. Anyway,
Yeah.
But yeah, she's all in my corner now.
what's
My
up.
family, period. They all support
cool.
me. They come out to my shows whenever I'm in Cleveland. That's between there and Memphis.
Okay.
I had a lot of family in those two cities, and family. Yeah, I get
cool.
support now. Yeah.
You remember what was your first TV credit?
I want to say Def Jam in '94, but I think I did Teen Summit before that. Remember Teen Summit?
Yeah,
Ananda
man,
Lewis
that's
and Prince
crazy.
DeJure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I did. Remember they were doing segments of entertainment. They were doing comedy, and they had music artists too. Because
Nah, Lewis is a nice looking woman.
oh man, she was fine, man. What? Oh yeah, man. Yeah, she was naturally fine. Yeah, Ananda Lewis. She's still fine.
I bet.
She's still fine.
I bet.
But yeah, man. They had Escape and all the groups on that 90s groups.
Absolutely.
So I did comedy on that. And I think I did that before Def Jam, but Def Jam was my first major credit.
Okay.
And I did that within 3 or 4 years of doing stand-up, which I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Looking back at it, like, you know, it's hard. It's hard for most of us to look back at ourselves. I even think Don may even feel that way. It's a comedian thing or entertainer thing. Sometimes we're like, I'm good. I don't want to see the beginnings.
Right.
But you know, but it's something to see.
Sure.
So I was only 3 or 4 years into the game, and I did well. Actually, I did well. I was nervous, of course, because I'm like, it's Def Jam, and I did it the year after Martin left. So that first year after Martin left. Joe Torre, Adele Givens, and Ricky Harris. Rest in peace, Ricky Harris. Right. They did a 3-person host. So Joe hosted mine. I did a nighttime taping. I was on there with all repeat comedians. So they basically veterans of Def Jam, right? So it was Talent, some more, Guy Torre, Chris Thomas, Rodney Winfield.
Oh wow!
Right, all veterans. And I go on, and I actually opened up with a joke that I just made up during sound check because I was impersonating Joe Torre, right? And I did that, and it worked, right? I was like, oh, and I went on into my little act, man. I didn't have one of those memorable sets, like the comedians had the memorable sets on Def Jam that blew them up.
Right.
Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac, Eddie Griffin, they blew it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have that set, but I had a memorable enough set, and then it didn't get cut because they cut people.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, man. I mean, even some people that were veterans, some of them got cut.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I hope I don't get cut. But I was happy they aired mine. That was a win for me, man.
Absolutely.
So on that magnitude, anyway. Then I started doing several seasons of Comic View. And I think I only missed like 1 year of Comic View.
Oh, wow.
I did almost every year except for 1 year. So I was on with all the hosts. I think with Montana Taylor, Gary Owen, of course, DC.
Right.
That's when they started doing the content. DC became the host because he won the grandstand.
Right.
So
right.
DC, all the hosts, man. Ricky, Bruce, Cheryl Underwood. I did, man, yeah. So I did several seasons of Comic View, and they even tried to do a different one with a different format, but it was still related to Comic View. It was Kevin Hart's One Mic Stand.
Right.
And that was kind of a division of Comic View, but it was, I did that.
Right.
2009. So that was my first major credit, though, I think, was Def Jam. But BET, I did that, too. So between those two, and after that, man, I claim all my credits, man, but I did P. Diddy's Bad Boys of Comedy. Don't see. I knew you were gonna laugh. Oh man,
It's how you presented it.
But
your head went down and everything.
this is water, not baby oil. But yeah, I did that.
Hilarious.
Comics Unleashed, man. Matter of fact, Comics Unleashed. Me and Tony Roberts got 2 of the most memorable episodes, man. We would join each other. Tony got me, though. I'll say that. Tony got me. But we would join each other's mother. I don't know if you saw it, man. People know that's one of the favorite episodes. Because on that panel, it was Tony Roberts, Earthquake, Roz G, rest in peace, Roz, and myself with Byron Allen. Man, me and Tony Roberts, man, we went at it. Yeah, man, both episodes. But Tony got me, man. That's my boy, man.
Yeah,
Tony.
that's good stuff.
Yeah, man. So I got so credits, I appreciate any credit I get.
Absolutely. So tell me, how did the ringmaster thing come along? How did you become the ringmaster, the Universoul Circus, man?
Let me tell you that was something, man. I was living in LA at the time, making it happen, doing the grind, and I was starting to do a little, come and see a little headway, financially, because I was a part of the NACA college tour circuit. Next thing you know, boy, Denise Howard, she was a show producer then of the Universoul Circus, and she's still the show producer to this day. Denise Howard was my first manager in stand-up comedy.
Wow.
Denise Howard was here in Atlanta first. She's originally from Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
She's her and Left Eye, because she was the last manager of TLC. And her and Left Eye had a company together, Left Eye Productions and Howard Agency and Left Eye Productions.
That's right.
And when we parted ways, but in a good way, from manager and client, she went on to do other stuff, which she joined the circus, and she called me out of the blue one day when I was at home in LA, and I think Shucky wasn't coming back, Shucky Ducky. I followed Shucky. Shucky followed Casual Cal. So I came behind Shucky, and she asked me, she said, would you be interested in being a ringmaster of the Universoul Circus? I'm like, well, because I was out in LA. I was out where I was where I wanted to be.
Right.
And then I said, well, all right, I'll come in and meet, because she told me the salary. She told me to pay too. I'm like, well, that's intriguing, but I'm out here making it in LA. And then I said, okay, all right, I'll come in and meet Mr. Walker, the CEO of the company. And when I met with him, here in the ATL, because this is where the headquarters is, the rest was history.
Really?
It was him, Zeke, and Denise in the office. And I was like, you know what? All right, I'll do it. And man, I'm glad I did. I never thought I would, though. I mean, I never saw that coming, man.
Right.
a lot of people, I first saw the Universoul Circus in 1998 on HBO.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, I watched it all the time, though. I was enamored by it, seeing a black circus,
Sure.
just like Black Comedy Club, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, that's dope. I watched it every time it came on. And then years later, I'm in the shoes of Casual Cal. I'm like, oh man.
That's crazy.
So it was great, man. It was an awesome experience. I'm glad it happened. It's still in me. When I go to visit the show, even Mr. Walker, they'll let me come back if I wanted to, and part of me be like, oh, that ring. There's something about that ring, man.
Really?
You getting that ring and you having fun.
Yeah.
But I was missing stand up, man. I wasn't, because that tour it's its own entity, man.
Right.
You could just make a living off that alone, but my heart was really still with stand up.
Okay.
That's where my passion is, stand up and even acting as well. But man, I got to come back to the stand up stage. So I wasn't able to do it. That tour was like 10 and a half months long.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was consistent.
Right.
It's still around.
Right.
Go see it if you can. Anybody out there listening? But man, when I go back, it's still family.
That's cool.
They still welcoming on. That's why you don't burn bridges. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I can always go back. And even when I have time off, like if they open up in Memphis, they come do a little feature for the hometown, and I'll do something like that, And yeah, but man, Mr. Walker's he's one of the most open-minded owners. Like any idea that he'll let you do it in the show.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
So he's not a creative stickler. Like he like creativity, but he's not a stickler. Like do it like this and then. Like okay, I like that. Let's try to put that in there. So, as long as it doesn't ruin the integrity of the show. So and then to work with the world. The world in one ring. That was our slogan one year. The world in one ring, because you had people from all over the world working in one ring, and yeah, man, you get to.
I'm sure it taught you a lot, though.
Taught me a lot, man.
Yeah.
In terms of my stand up, it taught you more crowd control.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because now, in a theater in the round, 2,500 people a show, you got to have all them listening to you, captivated. So it taught you crowd control, give you a level of confidence, kept your mind sharp, and that translate. Now, when I came back from the circus into the comedy, I was performing too big because I still had circus in me.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I was a ringmaster trying to tell some jokes. I had to tone it down. So yeah. So but yeah, it's it made you it upped your entertainment. It's entertaining. You gotta be entertaining, likable, you know what I'm saying, quick with it and everything, man. So it definitely was a strengthening tool, man. I'm glad I did it, you know what I'm saying? So
I bet that's cool. So Tone, what is it that you still have on your to-do list, the things that you still want to accomplish in this game?
I do want to get more than one special, at least some specials out, streaming, Netflix or whatever.
Okay.
I want to get some comedy specials out. I definitely want to do more movies, man. I just want to do this till I drop, to be honest, man.
Okay. Are you interested in behind the camera stuff? Or do you write? Do you write on things?
You know what? Yeah, I have great writing capabilities, man. I just got to tap into it more because I've written a lot of stuff. And I write my own stuff, but at the same time, I could punch up scripts real well too. A couple of my buddies, I've punched up some of their stuff. I work with Guy Torrey a lot too. Guy uses me to punch up his stuff too sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or he'll bounce stuff off of me. And eventually, I would probably like to write my own screenplay and or stage play, and maybe even own a comedy club. Well, I won't be in the same city, so I won't be in the same city because Uptown gonna be around forever. So I open up in another city, man. But no, try to get Memphis back on track, really.
Right,
But yeah, man, yeah, I'll join that small circle of black comedy club owners.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good stuff.
Yeah, be around to host it. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Tucker did it.
Absolutely.
Chris Tucker did. I used to work at his club too, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And somebody came and bought the whole plaza and turned it into a Walgreens and apartments.
Yes, they did.
The real mall.
That's what they do,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
That's what
I know,
they do.
I
They
know.
did it to me twice.
Oh, really? Man.
That's happened in Marietta Street.
Oh, really?
It's an apartment complex.
Oh, you know what? It sure is.
Yeah, that's happened in Central Avenue.
It
It's an
sure
apartment
is.
complex.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I forgot about you. Right, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what
boy.
they do, man.
Yeah.
So, Tone, I would like to end it with a top 5.
All right.
All right? So, I don't do comedians. You got to worry about that part.
Because I'm going to be all fine. No, I'm kidding. No, forget it.
But give me your top 5. I was about to say comedy movies, but I don't know if I want to do anything comedy. I tell you what, huh?
That's cool.
You good with that? Give me your top 5 comedy movies of all time.
All right. Top 5. Now, this is in no particular order, but these are my top 5. Oh, that's going to be a lot. That's hard, man. It's more than 5, but I'll do my top 5. Let me think. Harlem Nights.
Absolutely.
Life.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. I'm going to get you, sucker, me. Man, I'm just, no, I'm don't want to put, I'm going to get you, sucker, in there. Definitely Life and Harlem Nights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and put I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, in there, man.
Okay.
My next one is Don't Be a Menace While Drink Your Juice in it. Hey, man, that movie's so silly. I'm silly. So
That's one of them cult classics where after you watch it the 10th time, it gets more and more
so
stupid.
Man. Oh man, I kind of got a slapstick nature.
Yeah.
Some people may say I'm corny. I mean, hey, it may be, but
Yeah.
man, let me think, man. It's damn it. Comedy movie. Oh man, those. I'm gonna go with those 4. I'm trying to think of a 5th one. I'm missing one. Now I was just talking about Black Dynamite recently, but that's kind of I like Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite. Don't Be a Menace. Harlem Nights.
Sucker.
Life. I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Okay.
All right. Because
Okay.
I be dying laughing at Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
Man, she put her ankles in it. Yeah, Bullhorn. Oh man, it was some stupid stuff. That movie, Dynamite. Man, I'm sorry. I go all day on Black Dynamite, man. That movie had me crying, laughing every time, man.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony Tone, man, we appreciate you, man. Taking
Hey,
time to
thank
sit
you,
down
man.
at Uptown, man.
Thank you, man.
Always
True.
coming around the Rock Uptown Comedy Corner, man. It's good to see you again, brother.
And this is historical because he's the first and only club owner that has podcast as well. That means this interview is mandatory. But no, really. No other club owner does this. Has his own podcast and interviews his comedians. This is good, man. Keep this up for real.
Appreciate that, brother.
I enjoyed it.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is my man Tony Tone to sit down at Uptown. We out.